Expedition Talley Valley. The northeast of India remains shrouded in mysteries, disconnected from mainland India until very recently. Situated at the conjunction of different geological masses, the region hosts incredible biodiversity not seen anywhere else in the world. I was on my way to Talley Valley Wildlife Sanctuary, situated in a plateau near Zero, a town in Arunachal Pradesh. Monsoons were at their peak at this time of the year in northeast India, and the resultant mist and the occasional mudslide impeded our journey almost every hour. I had been involved in a long-term projects studying the altitudinal distribution of herpetofauna, snakes, frogs, and lizards, across the eastern Himalaya. Using data from field surveys and insights from DNA sequences, we hope to better understand how geography influences the distribution of organisms. We reached Zero late in the evening, and the exhaustion from the journey meant we curled up into our sleeping bags early. Zero is the land of the Apatani tribe, famed for their innovative and sustainable practices in agriculture. The farthest our field vehicle took us was Manipalyang, a small village at the edge of sanctuary limits. We parted ways with the driver and began the 8-kilometer trek up to Pange, which was to be our base camp for the expedition. The short burst of sun had brought out numerous species of butterflies. Occasionally, we came across mithuns, large domesticated members of the cow family kept by inhabitants of the hill forests, indicative of social status and serving as dowry during marriages among the Apatanis. Surveying for frogs and reptiles happened after dusk, and we had the mornings to amble leisurely in the jungle, watching birds and butterflies. Green rat snakes are common around the camp. They are a spectacular shade of green with black stripes along the length of their body. Flycatchers, leothrics, warblers, and babblers flitted about in the forest understory. The vegetation at this elevation is typical of tropical rainforests. High trees with a dense canopy, so dense that sometimes while looking up from the jungle trails, one cannot see the sky. Talley Valley has sizable populations of the rare and elusive clouded leopard. But the peak of monsoon meant vital signs that could give away its presence, such as poop or paw impressions in the soil, would be washed away. After a few nights of surveying around Pange, we made the decision to go deeper into the valley camp, a rough 12-kilometer trek uphill through abandoned, non-motorable trails. On the way up, the thick rainforest canopy gave way to more temperate pines and silver firs. We reached the valley camp late in the afternoon. The Nimapema mountain range of Bhutan looked majestic in the distance against the setting sun. Vegetation is mostly restricted to stunted shrubs and bamboo, the ferns, orchids, and lichens, all more discernible now due to the absence of bigger trees. The bamboo here is a different species, found only in Talley. The animal communities are different from lower elevation Pange, and I was particularly thrilled to see many butterfly species for the first time. We returned to Pange after 2 nights in the valley camp. As far as the clouded leopard was concerned, the trek down was as luckless as the trek up. However, we came across a Jordan's pit viper, a typical high elevation species in this region, but hard to spot due to its ambush predatory behavior. Back in Pange, we met the range officer Mr. Reddy Bai, who came for his fortnightly visits to the camp. The conversations with this jolly man left me very hopeful for the future of the forests. He also invited us to attend Dri, the annual harvest festival of the Zero, which brings together the entire town of Zero. Sacrifice rituals are performed to appease the sun and moon gods and avoid famine. The rains were good and the harvest bountiful, and the entire town was in festive spirits as they ate, drank, and celebrated. Even though I had been there for just 2 weeks, the camaraderie we developed while living and working together made it hard to say goodbye to these wonderful people. Talley and the Apatanis, with their infectious passion for life and nature, had left an indelible impression on my mind and heart. I was humbled by the generosity of their vast knowledge about the jungle and their determination to save the land that they call their own. I returned with memory cards full of photos, notebooks filled with data, hopefully useful, and a heart filled with sincere admiration for the cheerful and passionate Apatani way of life. There was a tinge of sadness at not having seen the clouded leopard this time. But for now, I would rest easy knowing it is in safe heaven in Talley, under the watchful vigilance of the Apatanis.